Moshpit passion, you know, for the passion of the music.
Herzlich willkommen bei Moshpit Passion auf YouTube. Ich bin der Kai und wie ihr sehen könnt, ich bin nicht alleine. Und zwar habe ich hier 50% der Bandmitglieder von Left to Die und auch 50%, die damals bei der Leprosy-Ära dabei waren. Und zwar habe ich hier zum einen den lieben Rick und den lieben Terry. Und wir werden ja über das ganze Konzept sprechen und daher nicht wundern, wenn ich jetzt ins Englische umswitche. So guys, thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much to come to Europe to play, let me say, the legacy of death.
You're very welcome.
And my first question is, so how is the first feedback of the audience? Like, I don't know how many years the people couldn't not hear some kind of live music or celebration of Schuldiner and death. Who wants to start? You?
It's been great. You know, we did this in Europe, on the East Coast and the Midwest, about 20 shows, you know, last year, and the reception was amazing. So it's like, let's take it across the pond, and so far so good. You know, every show's been great. Yeah, very well received.
Nice. If you look at the lineup, everybody knows you're playing also in different kind of bands. And how do you manage to say, all right, we are playing in bands and now we have this chapter going on, so let's find a good solution for everybody. How does it work out?
Well, on my side, I got like a puzzle board and I try and create space.
Yeah.
You know, wherever I can find a gap to put something, you know, we try and work something out. And, you know, we're all in different bands, so you have to kind of, you know, like a puzzle, kind of figure it out. So.
And so it's for everybody okay in the other bands, and also what you're doing else besides when you're not touring, it's also okay for everybody?
Yeah, I'm not in any other bands except for this band, so but I'm just happy that it's happening and everybody decided to do it. We have a great team and everything is going really well, and like Terry said, it's being very well received.
I want to a little bit talk about a specific topic, because what you are doing is a tribute to death, and also there are bands out there. I don't want to name anybody, but for instance, there's a band, the front singer died 10 years ago or something like that. And they're also saying, hey, we're doing some kind of celebration of it, but their front singer, how they present the new one, he's dressed like the old one, and the band is currently on tour, and he's dressed like a cyborg, something like that. And what I want to know is, where do you see some kind of border, like, all right, that's some kind of, we pay tribute to something, when it comes to it's some kind of cash grab or rip off, you know what I mean? Where do you see the difference, and where's for you a red line, like, okay, we don't want to cross that, we separate also, yeah.
We approach it like Rick wrote quite a bit of material on Leprosy. Rick was around in the demo days when a lot of those riffs were also on Scream by the Gore. Rick and I joined Death right as Scream by the Gore came out, so we have history with that album, okay? So we're approaching this as a band. We're eventually going to put out some new music. That's our game plan. When we find time, put some riffs together, write some stuff, put an album out. So we are approaching this as a band. We're honoring the album Leprosy and Chuck by doing these handful of tours right now. Down the road, we foresee a future where we have new material. We're playing 75% of our new album and throwing in 5 or 6 death tunes on top of it, kind of things, you know. So we don't look at it 100% as a tribute band. You know, we're looking at it as a band with some 4 members that have a lot of history in that band and have written songs in that band, you know. It's not like we're doing a, you know, Dark Funeral tribute band, you know what I'm saying? We're doing death songs by people who actually wrote those songs. So that's how we approach it, you know.
And when it comes to, let me say, newer bands who are playing the style of Death, Obituary, all those bands, let me say, this new school fans, how is it for you? Is it for you some kind of, yeah, we appreciate that there are new bands and we have some kind of impact, or is it for you like, oh, the newer bands, please do something new, you know, that everything is out there, please develop something new about it. How do you feel about it, that people come up to you and say, hey, Leprosy, that record is a huge influence, and you listen to their music and you're like, nah, it's some kind of rip-off, so you know what I mean?
You want to try that one, Rick?
I mean, if they're influenced by the band, that's cool. It doesn't bother me a bit. You know, if that's what you're asking, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's very flattering if they're influenced, and it sounds like the band a little bit. That's just their influence, and they didn't, you know, I'm not insulted, and it doesn't bother me, and it doesn't piss me off.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of flattering, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all, you know. I think it's great to hear there's a lot of newer, younger bands coming out that are old school bands, 200 Stag Ones, Enforced, these kind of bands. I think it's great. And if I hear a tune, oh, that sounds like something off of Leprosy, I don't care. Whatever, it sounds great, you know.
And for the people out there, do we have maybe some kind of new band in your mind where you say, hey, please check them out, they definitely need some kind of support?
Well, I mentioned two that I really like, you know, 200 Stag Ones, Enforced. But I listen to a lot of old stuff that I listen to. I still listen to stuff I listened to when I was 15, you know.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Ted Nugent, Thin Lizzy, UFO. I mean, that's what I listen to, you know. Yeah. I might be a little jaded, but, you know, very rarely do I hear a new band and go, okay, they're doing something different and I like it. Because to me, a lot of it's been done before. It's just how it's arranged to make it sound new, you know.
Yeah.
You can only blast so fast. You know,
it's a good
so
segment.
I mean, it's So I'm an old school dude that listens to old school music. So.
And for you, Rick?
Same here.
Same here.
Yeah, I mean, no shit, for real. Same here. I couldn't even name any new bands, and no disrespect to the new bands, but I listen to so much old stuff that, yeah, really, it's all I listen to is classic rock and classic metal and all kinds of different stuff. So, yeah.
So how is it for you? Yeah, you mentioned earlier that you're on tour again in Europe, paying tribute to Death. When you think 30 years ago, when you came with Death, when the record came out here in Europe and you became a touring band, do you remember your first impression of Europe? So what comes up in your mind if you're thinking back 30 years ago with a silly story or a specific concert where you're thinking, wow, that is crazy?
Well, it was just, obviously it was totally foreign to me because I'd never been to Europe, you know, so I mean things were kind of the same but they were totally different at the same time. But when we got on stage and played, it was just like anything. It was fans wanting to hear your music, so that was great, you know. They were very fanatical and crazy and awesome and very passionate, and it was awesome. Yeah. You know, everything else was a little different to us. The traveling arrangements, the hotels and everything were kind of new and all that stuff. But over the years, gotten used to it, and things are a little different.
And for you?
Pretty much the same. It was really exciting to come, you know, when we were kids. I mean, we were in our 20s, early 20s, so just being able to come over here is very flattering, you know what I mean? So, and coming back again is even, you know, at 56 years old, it's pretty flattering, you know what I mean? So it's really cool. And we have, like I said, we have a really good team, and everybody gets along, and there's no, you know, bull crap going on with anybody, so.
Yeah, it was like, hey, there's a Coca-Cola and it's written in a different language. Oh my God! But now it's like, you know, nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, what are your future plans? I mean, do you plan to record something? Because, for instance, if I look at you, you played also in Massacre and you're playing in Inhuman Condition. I got the record right here.
Oh, cool. All right.
And for those who don't know, I don't know if I want to share the story because I know the story why Inhuman Condition is existing, yeah. But keep it short. Yeah, it's influenced by Massacre, and let's stay to that. And however, what I want to know is what about the Left to Die record, something like that? Rick?
Yeah, like Terry said before, we're definitely looking to record new music. Everybody has some riffs, and when we have the time as a band to put them together, we'll most likely do that. Yeah. So Gus and I will probably end up doing some jamming while Terry and Matt are gone on tour coming up in the next few months, and try and put a couple of things together and then present it to the two of them and see what they think about it, and then slowly, but we're not going to rush, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
If it's meant to be, it'll come together, and it'll definitely be kick-ass, but we'll see what happens. But we're definitely looking forward to doing that, yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
I mean, musically, obviously, it's going to be in the same vein, you know. It's not going to sound like Trivium or, you know, Gojira. Yeah. It's going to be, you know, Scream, Leprosy, From Beyond, kind of all that thrown into a blender, and there you go.
Nice. That's the people what they want to hear.
Yeah,
I guess.
Not? I mean, that's good stuff. So why not have more of it?
Definitely. And there's my last question, because our magazine is called Moshpit Passion. If you have a crazy Moshpit experience to share from your own perspective, or like you played somewhere on a stage and we're like, oh, this crowd is completely crazy, we see somebody is shitting in the middle of the pit or something like that. Yeah, really, the band shared this crazy stuff. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah, there's tons, but I'm going to go way back. We were, I think it was a Leprosy tour, a guy from the label named Scott Givens was on stage with us, and we were playing a place called Sundance on Long Island, and it was a crazy crowd, just tons of people. There was a pit going and everything, and he ran off the stage to do a stage dive, and everyone moved out of the way, and he landed right on the ground. It was frightening and hilarious at the same time. And I don't know, Scott, I know you'll never see this interview, but I don't mean anything by it, but it was funny and scary at the same time. So.
He was a big man, big guy.
No, that's heavy. Yeah.
It was, yeah, crazy.
And you, Rick?
I really don't have any. I mean, I see crazy stuff all the time, and I have, but I'm going to say for myself, what I remember, me stage diving at a Sabotage concert. They at Ruby's Pub, they opened up with I can't remember what song, City We Need One anyway. And I got right on the first song, and I got on stage and I dove off backwards, and I landed on a beer
cup.
No, it was like a pitcher of beer that was broken. So I had a big piece of glass went on my back, and but yeah, no, I was fine. It wasn't bleeding or anything, but yeah, that was like right in the beginning, and then I ended up going home, and then we stopped at a rest area, and it wasn't that bad. But
a lot of people got hurt during that show.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So yeah, that's the only thing I just dove off and landed on a beer thing and cut myself, but that was it.
Crazy Moshpit experiences.
Yeah. Scott giving stories. Sorry, Scott. That's a good one.
Guys, thank you very much for the interview. I wish you also all the best for the tour. I'm looking for the new record.
Yeah, we don't have no time frame, but somewhere in the future there will be some new material. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Für die Zuschauer da draußen ganz, ganz wichtig, supportet auch Left to Die in den sozialen Medien. Ich habe euch unten alles verlinkt. In dem Sinne, gehabt euch wohl und bye bye.
Bye.
Moshpit passion, for the passion of music.